Today we're going to be learning how to crochet this quick and beginner-friendly solid granny square. This is a super easy project and a great project to learn if you are new to crochet. I'm going to be working through the stitches with you as we use them, and you will not need to know how to make a magic circle for this project. I'm also going to teach you how to make your square larger or smaller, and all you're going to need to get started is some worsted weight for acrylic yarn, a pair of scissors, and a 4.5mm hook, and we can go ahead and get started on our solid granny square. Okay, to get started on our solid granny square, we need to make a slip knot. To make a slip knot, I'm going to wrap the yarn around my fingers and across, and pinch the yarn tail with my thumb. Then I'm taking the pointer finger on my opposite hand and placing it under that first strand of yarn and over the second. Then I'm flipping that second strand up and pulling it tight to make my slip knot. Let's do that one more time. Cross the yarn around your fingers, pinch it with your thumb, then place your pointer finger on your opposite hand under that first strand of yarn and over the second, and then just flip that second strand of yarn up and pull it tight. Now we can insert the hook into our slip knot and pull that tight. And we're going to get started on our chain. To make our chain, we're going to yarn over and pull that directly through the loop on our hook. And we need 4 chains in total. So let's make our next chain. Yarn over and pull it directly through the loop on the hook. And there are our 4 chains. We need to connect the end and the beginning of this chain to form a circle. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that your chain is not twisted. And I'm going to insert the hook into the top loop of our first chain right there. I need to make a slip stitch. To make my slip stitch, I'm going to yarn over and pull that directly through both of those loops on my hook. And now you can see that I have a little circle. And I'm going to go ahead and trim my yarn tail so it's not in the way. And now we can get started on round 1 of our solid granny square. To get started on round 1, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And your chain 3 is going to be at the beginning of each round of your solid granny square. And this chain is going to count as 1 double crochet stitch. So next we're going to make 2 double crochets into the center of our circle. Now we're not going to be working into the actual chains that we made, but we want to work each of our stitches into the center of the circle that we made out of the chain. So let's make our 2 double crochets. To make a double crochet, I'm going to yarn over and insert the hook into the center of our circle. Yarn over and pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, and that makes 1 double crochet. And I'm just going to scoop my double crochets down towards our chain as I work so I have enough room to place all of my stitches into the circle. So let's make our next double crochet again by yarning over. Insert the hook into the circle. Yarn over and pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. So now we should have our chain, which counts as 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochet stitches into the middle of our circle. Next we need to make the first corner of our square, and we're going to do this by chaining 2. 1 and 2. And now we're going to place 3 more double crochets into the center of our circle here. 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to make our next corner by chaining 2, 1 and 2. And now we're going to make 3 more double crochets just like we did before into the center of our circle here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we need to make our next corner, again by just chaining 2. And now we're going to make our last 3 double crochets into the center of our circle. 1, 2, and 3. And to make our final corner, instead of chaining 2, I'm going to place 1 half double crochet into the top chain of our chain 3 here. And that's going to be right here. That's the top chain, and I want that back loop of our chain right there. And to make a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into that loop, yarn over and pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops to make our half double crochet. And you have finished round 1 of your solid granny square. I'm going to go ahead and pull the yarn tail in the back here to tighten that circle up a little bit. And now we can get started on round 2. Okay, to get started on round 2, I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now I need to make 1 double crochet, not into this first stitch here, which again, our chain counts as a stitch, but we want to go into this space that was created by the half double crochet. So you can see here we have these chain 2 spaces that were created by the chains that we made between our double crochet clusters. And now we have this space here that was made by our half double crochet at the end of the last round. So I'm going to place 1 double crochet into that space. Just like that. And now I need to make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And again, this chain here counts as a stitch, so we need to place our first double crochet into the top chain, just like we did before when we made our half double crochet. It's going to be into that same chain. So let's double crochet 1 into that chain, that first stitch. And now we can double crochet 1 into each of the next 2 stitches. Just like that. So we've got our chain of 3, our first double crochet, and then our next 3 double crochets. Now we need to make our first corner, and we're going to do that by placing 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space here. 1 and 2. Then I'm going to chain 2. And I need to place 2 more double crochets into this same space. You can scoot your stitches down so that you have enough room to place your next 2 double crochets. Just like that. So into our corner we should have 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Next I'm going to double crochet 1 into each of the next 3 stitches right here. 1, 2, and 3. Now we can make our next corner just like we did before by placing 2 double crochets into this next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and place 2 more double crochets into that very same chain 2 space. 1 and 2. Okay, now we need to make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches again. One, 2, and 3. Now we're going to make our next corner. the same way we did before by placing 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chaining 2, and placing 2 more double crochets into that very same space. Just like that. Now I'm going to place 1 double crochet again into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now into this space that was made by the half double crochet at the end of our last round right here, we need to make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Now again, we're going to finish this corner by making 1 half double crochet into the top of our chain that we made at the beginning of our round. So we can see our 3 chains and this top chain here, and that top loop is where we're going to place our half double crochet. Again, half double crochet by yarning over, insert the hook into that loop, yarn over and pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and that completes round 2. Now you should have 7 double crochets in total on each side of your square with your corner in between. So make sure that you have the right number of stitches before we move on to round 3. To get started on round 3, we need to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to place 1 double crochet into that space that was created by our half double crochet at the end of the last round. Like that. Now we're going to place 1 half double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches along this edge. And keep in mind that our chain 3 counts as a stitch. So let's make our 7 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we need to make our first corner, and we're going to do this the same way that we did before by placing 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chain 2, and place 2 more double crochets into that same chain 2 space, just like that. Now again, we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. Just like that. Now we're going to make our next corner by placing 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chaining 2, and placing 2 more double crochets into that same chain 2 space. And again, we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches here. And 7. This is what it should be looking like so far. Let's make our next corner by placing 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chaining 2, and placing 2 more double crochets into that same space. And we're going to make our last 7 double crochets, 1 double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. And finally, to finish round 3, we need to place 2 double crochets into this space that was created by the half double crochet at the end of the last round, which is going to be right there. 1 and 2. And finally, we're going to make our half double crochet into the top chain of our chain 3 here, just like we did before. Just like that. And that completes round 3 of our granny square. Okay, round 4 follows the same steps as in round 3. We just have more stitches between each corner. So let's go ahead and get started by chaining 3. And we need to place our first double crochet into that corner space right there that was created by the half double crochet. So let's place 1 double crochet into that space. Now we need to make 1 double crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. Again, your chain of 3 is going to count as a stitch, so make your first double crochet into that. So now we need to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. And don't forget that your chain here counts as a stitch, so you need to place your first double crochet into the top chain of your chain there. Now we're going to make our first corner the same way that we have been by placing 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chaining 2, and placing 2 more double crochets into the same space. Okay, now we're going to repeat the same process by placing 1 double crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. Now let's make our next corner. Place 2 double crochets into that next chain 2 space, chain 2, and make 2 more double crochets into that very same space. And place 1 double crochet into each of the next 11 stitches again. Let's make our third corner for round 4. 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chain 2, and place 2 more double crochets into that same space. Just like that. And let's make our last 11 double crochets along the edge here until we get to the end. Okay, I just finished my last 11 double crochets along that edge. Now to finish round 4, I need to place 2 double crochets into this space here. And make our half double crochet into the top chain of our chain 3, just like we have before. I'm going into that top loop and making 1 half double crochet. Now I'm ending my granny square on round 4, but you can add as many rounds as you would like to make it as small or large as you need. All you have to do is repeat the same process that we have been repeating. You're just going to have more stitches between each corner, each row you add. So this is totally up to you how large you need yours to be. So I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn. Then I'm just pulling that yarn up through the chain and pulling it tight. And we can weave that yarn tail in. You can do that however you prefer. I'm just going to put it like that for right now. And that completes our solid granny square. I really hope that you enjoyed this project. I enjoyed walking you through it. Let me know what you'd like to see next and subscribe if you are not already. And I will see you guys in the next one.